Hi everyone, it's Brian here at Briden Farm, and I just wanted to actually it's going to be a rather lengthy video. Hope you enjoy it. I'm going to take you back through the places where we've been using the goats and pigs for pasture. Give you some idea of why we do what we do. This is the current goat pasture, woodland pastures, and they are on electric fence. It's more for predator control than anything, because these goats can, especially the smaller ones, can get out. There's no question about that. As long as we keep them on good feed and keep them so they're not bored, we've had very good success with them actually staying in. Now this afternoon, just because I said that, I'll probably be chasing goats. Hopefully not. But as long as they're well fed and cared for and happy in their pasture, they really don't seem to have much need to go anywhere else. Now, directly behind me and on wires, electric wire, are 3 pigs. And you can see just how comfortable they get. So that's Lara, Curly, and Mo. And they're getting to be a good size. Put the tape on Mo last week, and he measures out to be about 175 pounds, probably 180 now. Don't touch the fence. And they just been in here for a day, actually just since yesterday, I think. Did the fence a couple of days prior. Water dish, water and feed dishes down there, one of them. The other's over there, I believe. Anyway, trying to preserve some of our old fruit trees, and we're going to trim out around this one after, running the fences so there's a walkway where the fruit trees are in many cases. That's Ella, that's Sophie. Down there with Nana and the kids is Eve. Anyway, come for a walk with me. I'm going to try to do this in such a way not to disturb the pigs too much, but I want to go back along and just show you where they've been and what they've done. I got no feed there, piggies, so don't touch the fence. They like to walk it along with. They also like their scratches. I gotta be careful I don't touch the fence either. That's Curly, don't touch the fence. They like to be scratched. Clara too. And that's Mo. He loves his rub. He loves his rub. Don't touch the fence. Yeah. And they like to walk along with. Now they will be. So here I've got to go in their pasture. They're good. They give me a little, not actual bites, but we'll say love bites and bumps along the way. But they're good. And so this is, we just put them in here, like I say yesterday. They've done this end up quite a lot. They got a good pasture there. This is how we raise our woodland pork, and we'll have that available by the side later this fall. And we actually are considering, that's Lara right there, and we're considering having her bred this fall and maybe overwinter her and have her own piglets next spring. And again, that's Mo and Curly back there. And you can see how they use their nose and till. So this is where they've just been. This is where they've just been yesterday. Moved them into this yesterday. And this is where they were last. Now you can see just in the landscape, how they underbrush. The goats actually were not in this piece, or the underbrush would be gone even further up. Goats typically eat from our knees up, and goats and pigs from the knee down, including the underground, and they actually bring up even rocks. So one thing I want to show you, the old logs. They absolutely decimate them. Pigs are omnivores, which means they eat both plant and animal, whatever they can get type thing, somewhat like humans. And in these old logs, of course, are insects, which provide lots of protein, and that turns into lots of bacon. Just don't tell them that. We believe in giving our animals the best life possible for as long as possible, and for most male pigs, that's about 9 months, and by that time they have grown up to where they're going to weigh about 250 pounds, dress out to around 80 pounds should be per side, and last year we sold that at $4 a pound. This year it's going to be a little more, simply because everything, transportation, gas, even though they're out here on the woodlands, we do feed them as well. And feed prices, some of our feed prices, our costs have gone up at 40%. Well, we're going to try to keep our price per pork up by the side in the $4 to $5 range, but with knowing that, you can understand why we may have to raise our prices to that $4 to $5 range, and not just $4. And by the time we paid for the butcher and everything last year, and feed, and the price of the pigs and so on, we really didn't make anything. We did get some pork for ourselves, beautiful pork, and those who've had our pork absolutely love it. This is our summertime pig house, using the old mink cages, some fiberglass panels that we had for to cover for the roof. Basically, as long as it keeps out the wind and the rain, they're good. And as you can see, there's still lots of canopy here, so that helps shelter the wind and rain both, also as it comes there from the east. And so this is what we just come through, and I kind of moved them through this one a little bit quick. Might revisit that next year, or possibly this fall, but I kind of have a plan worked out where there probably won't be anything back on this until next year. But you can see how it's nicely cleared out. I mean, if you look there, now that's actually our neighbor's property. We're running the property line, but if you look down on there, that's ours, and no goats through this section, just the pigs. And now I can go in and I can take out the wood for firewood, thin out, do some silviculture in this Silvipasture, which basically means raising animals in pasture under trees. But this is a section that they were on, I'm going to say a month ago. Now, what's neat about this is, some of it, because I'm learning too, some of it has probably been overgrazed a bit, but what do we have here? Grass. Grass grows, and look down there. Grass grows quicker than things like saplings. And so by doing this, by disturbing the soil, you get into a situation of regenerative farming, where we begin to see the old seed bed come alive, and I've learned that probably I should be rotating them a little quicker. The original thinking was you rotate pigs every 2 weeks because that keeps ahead of the parasite cycle, and to my knowledge, it's an issue we haven't had to deal with because we have kept ahead of it. And but for grasses, to really encourage, here we go again with more grass growth, to really encourage that grass, should be moving the pigs about every 5 to 12 days and trimming out, see that tree, is going to fall. Probably not this year, unless I fall it, unless I take it down. There's another one over there that's going to fall. There's others here that have already fallen. Come in, take that out, leave the best trees, and use them for shade and shelter. This is a section here that neither the goats nor the pigs have been on, but it is full of fern, goldenrod, weeds and thistle, basically, because it hasn't been farmed in the last 35 to 40 years. But as we continue to do this, a beautiful shot of the grass that's coming in that, and realize that this was within the last month that this was done. We keep them basically 2 weeks. I might shorten that period up now that I know a little bit more about how to move them in the 5 to 12 day period, and that'll spur even more grass. But this was, I'm going to say, a month ago. That was, actually this was 2 weeks ago. So moved them in here a month ago, this section where the grass is now growing. Moved them in here a month ago, kept them in here for about 2 weeks, moved them into the next section, moved them out of that yesterday into where they are now. So that grass has come up just in the last couple of weeks. So that's pretty awesome. And they do a pretty good job. There's still some things that are, I might want to go in and take out, but the biggest thing is I need to get in here and open up the canopy, let the sun come in on the grass. If you look, there's grass and sun. There's grass and sun. There's grass and sun. And where the sun comes in is where the grass will grow the quickest. So come in and open up that canopy. Use that wood for firewood. And this is where they were, I'm going to say 4 to 6 weeks ago. And the goats were actually in this section prior. Those 2 sections we just come through, no goats, just pigs. Wanted to see how that would go and what it was like. And this is what this looked like before we put the goats in here. Goats and pigs were both in here, and changed it from that to this. And this was actually probably overgrazed a bit, but we will start to see grass coming back in it as well. And I'm learning. I learn every day. It sure makes it a whole lot easier to get in here now and cut out the trees and open that canopy up than trying to climb through this. So this is what goats and pigs together do. Not exactly sure who's living in here, but I know that Roscoe has been trying to get it out. I do know that it probably is not probably not a porcupine, because porcupine would have turds all over, and so far no quills, so that's a good thing. It's quite deep in places where the tree roots have come out, and there's no smell, no bad smell, so it's not a skunk den. But I do think that something, probably raccoons, have made this their home. And the dogs are now digging it out. And I think that I may, in time, take and build this up a bit with old logs and turn this into a root cellar, just because. It's something I've never done, something that our ancestors did, and it would be a nice experiment just to see if I can do it and how long it might take. Now, here, from where you see that pallet, which was a gate, this has been, and you'll see here, more grass is coming up, and again, where there's sun, the grass comes. Where there's no sun, it takes longer for the grass to come, which means getting the canopy open and increase the grass growth. Now, in this section, this is fairly flat here. This used to be gardens 35, 40 years ago, or maybe a little longer. And from the pine tree across to those fallen down trees, I think that this will probably become garden, if not next year, in 2 years' time. And not sure if you can hear that. It's the wind blowing in the treetops. One of the nice things here is when the winds, the northwest winds, come over the top of the hill, they literally blow right over, and we're not bothered by them much. This, again, is where the pigs and goats have come through, and beginning to see, this is actually, once we get over to here, the goats were through this about a year ago, no pigs. So that just gives you a rough idea of what we're doing, a little bit of idea why we're doing it, and you cannot beat the meat. Pastured pork, pastured in woodland, where they're out in the sun, getting vitamin D. The meat has vitamin D, has omegas. I've had, I'll try not to give away who she is, but I've had someone who's had a couple of restaurants over the years come and have her pork, and actually last year got some of her pork, and they couldn't believe the difference. Her husband, who I sort of grew up with, was a childhood friend. He typically doesn't like pork because it's used to getting it these days in the store, got ours and could not believe the difference, and they've already indicated that they'd like to get more this year. So, pastured, woodland pastured pork, omegas, vitamin D, you just don't get that from what they grow in intensive operations and sell on the store shelf. In most cases, it's a totally different monster altogether. Anyway, you can even see here the saplings are starting to come back up. This was both goat and pig was in here. I'm gonna say a month and a half to 2 months ago, and look at the sapling growth coming up here already. Possibly by later fall, this was done as well. And so in here we still have a lot of sapling growth, and I believe it's when you overgraze, because I'm pretty sure that's what I did here, it encourages the saplings to grow more than the grass. The shorter period, the 5 to 12 day period, encourages the grass growth and not so much the sapling. So that is, yeah, I'm looking, and by October, maybe end of September, if I want to, I could actually put the goat back in here. Not sure that I will, but you can definitely see that where that was over grazed, that the sapling growth has come back into it tremendously. And so actually I will probably wait until spring and put them back in again, as long as it doesn't look like it's going to be too compacted, and go according to that with a shorter time period and get more grass growth. Now this here had the pigs on it last, definitely overgrazed, left them here too long, and this is what you don't want. But as I say, I'm learning every day, and it's all part of a learning process. And because of what we're doing here, we've actually been asked to possibly start and do a similar thing on somewhat on how do I put it, a family farm that has been somewhat neglected, similar to this one, but that already has more grass pasture. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But yeah, this is where we're at and why we're doing what we're doing. And after we graze the animals through, and actually even as we graze the animals through, our own flock of free-range chickens get to come up in here and pick and fertilize as well, and keep things going. And they actually clean up whatever mess is left behind. No smell, and just a beautiful setting. So anyway, I know it's a little long, but I hope you enjoyed that video, and I've been waiting a while to do it. Wanted you to see what we're doing. That although I'm not perfect, I'm working towards doing some regenerative landscaping, clearing out some spots, getting grass to grow, turning woodland into pastures to help give our animals a better life, and in turn give us a better life. So anyway, for today, I'll say ciao for now.